All right. The game that I chose for NES month is a game called Crystalis. It is,
Hey, good, good game.
yeah, it was developed by SNK, and it's a old school, obviously, action
Mm-hmm.
RPG. Uh, I'll read the plot synopsis here. Crystalis takes place in a post-apocalyptic world in 2097, 100 years after 1997, October 1st, the end day, when a global thermonuclear war began that reverted civilization to a primitive medieval existence populated with fierce mutated creatures. It reminds me because I just was playing Lies of P, and it's an action RPG, and I feel like Crystalis isn't quite as good as Lies of P. Let me tell you about Lies of P. Lies of P tells the story of Pinocchio, a robotic puppet who
What an awful
differs
name.
from other puppets in his ability to lie, which plays a role
It's
during important story decisions.
That's a great game. It's got the worst fucking name I've ever heard. Is Lies of P. I hate that name.
Wait, so P stands for Pinocchio, Lies of Pinocchio?
Oh, your pee
Wow.
Yeah.
that comes out of your
Yeah.
body.
I think it's a pretty genius name once you understand the gameplay. Um,
You would.
but anyway, so I guess Crystalis is it's kind of like a flag bearer for early RPGs. It's got not necessarily an open world, but you know, it has like an overworld that you walk through, and that's where you do a lot of combat, and then you get into caves and there's a lot of puzzle solving. I like that they have magic, because obviously there's a limited amount of buttons, which makes these kind of RPGs a little tricky on older consoles, but they work their way through it by, if you hold your attack for a longer period of time, you charge up a magic attack and can therefore let loose something. And the magic can not only affect enemies, but also will, you know, solve puzzles throughout the world, like destroy rocks or whatever. I didn't get that far in it, just FYI. But I might continue playing. But it's interesting. It's a little bit slower than you would think like a modern RPG would be. It takes quite a long time to level up, and the controls are a little bit finicky. Again, kind of expected for the time. His sword, he lunges with it, and it's very thin, so you have to be a little bit more precise than what you would consider like how they did action RPGs going forward, where it's more of an arc, and so you can hit like a square above you. It's a little bit more precise than that, and you can end up taking a lot of hits accidentally if you're not careful. Not unlike Lies of P, where you know, it's more like a Soulsborne type, like a Bloodborne ish game, and you have to be very careful and precise with your attacks. But sometimes you lunge, and you get to pick which one you want to do, and the bosses really challenge you with these big bombastic bits of combat, and it allows you to dodge, which is nice. Unfortunately, Crystalis, there's no dodge button, so it's just up, down, left, right, isometric.
Is this secretly a review of Lies of P?
No, not at all, not at all, not at all. I'm making it. It's a personal. I'm reviewing Crystalis, okay. Alex. We're talking about Crystalis here. Please don't derail me. The graphics of Crystalis are nice and bright. Kind of reminds me of like Earthbound, where it has like a lot of earth tones to it. The green is very green. Obviously, it's on the NES, so it has limited specs there anyway. But the overworld is nice. I like the change of pace, and when you're going through like inside dungeon type places, it mixes it up enough where it looks better. This is probably a more advanced NES games or advanced NES game than a lot of the older ones. Just you can see that they learned a lot about the graphics at this point, and they were able to do some pretty impressive things. Although I will say, Lies of P, they're able to have a lot more storytelling visually. And while the city looks somewhat familiar, it's definitely in a more futuristic place, which you wouldn't think about when you're playing a Pinocchio game. But it actually does take place in the distant future, where a lot of technology has taken place, and you get to see what happens when man creates robots and they go berserk. That's the excitement of Lies of P. And then
Crystalis,
and
you
then
mean?
yeah, that's the excitement of Crystalis that takes place in the future, and it's post-apocalyptic and explosions, and you're a boy. In Pinocchio,
So-
you're a
Spencer,
doll.
So you
Spencer,
actually
you're very close to being disqualified.
What's up, Brian?
so you played this? Did you play it on a Switch? Is it on a Switch or a collection? How did you play this?
I played this.
Sorry, go ahead.
I played this on the Steam Deck.
Oh, okay. And how far did you?
I
get?
do want to say that. Oh, sorry, Brian. For your question, it is on the SNK Anniversary Collection.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. If
Yeah, that's right.
I'm glad you gave it a shot. So you did enjoy it. You think you'll continue it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I think I recently played the Game Boy Color version of this, and the NES version's better. They did fix one thing in the Game Boy Color version. I don't know if you got this far yet. The one thing, like you said, limited buttons. The one thing that's a pain about Crystalis, which I don't like about it, is you get multiple swords.
Mm-hmm.
Certain enemies are only weak against certain types of swords. So if you're in a room with 3 different enemies and one's weak to ice, one's weak to fire, you have to hit start, switch to the fire, kill the one, hit start, switch to the ice, kill the other one, hit start, switch to the lightning, kill the other one. So you're constantly hitting start all the time.
Yeah.
And they fixed that in the Game Boy Color game. So every sword does all the enemies, kills every enemy. You don't have to switch. But the music's a lot worse. They changed the music, which is one of the best parts of Crystalis. The music is Ben Smooche. It's very good.
Yeah. Well, Liza P also has multiple swords you can use. Some of them are lunge, some are more blunt attack, but they're all weapons that he can use and then customize further through other gameplay mechanics. And that's what I like about these.
Did that first boss and Liza P take you forever? Because that first boss took me forever.
No, I just went back and grind a little bit. See, that's why I like this over like a game like an older game, like maybe a Crystalis type game, is that
Oh my god!
it makes grinding a lot easier to do and more fun. Whereas in Crystalis,
I apologize
in Crystalis
to our people who clicked on the Crystalis review video on YouTube.
In Crystalis,
You clicked on that expecting a review of Crystalis. You did come to the right place. It was
came
the
to
right idea.
the right place.
It was just
So can I ask
Excuse
you,
I'd be
little
more
off.
upset, but Liza P is very good. I've also been playing that.
so does Liza P, it's a 3D game, I take it. Are the graphics
No,
realistic?
Crystalis. Sorry, Crystalis.
Crystalis. We're talking about Crystalis, Brian.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
you could
Brian,
have
talk about
fooled me.
Crystalis.
I didn't know. I heard a lot of Liza P there, so I was like confused there for a
Lies
second.
of
So-
Lies
You
of B.
gotta get on the Who's level. Won't get fooled again.
Yeah. Okay. So, did you like? I know you're not a big graphics guy, but you like the graphics enough because I think they're pretty colorful. And I mean, you're dealing with the NES, but I thought they did a good job of varying it up. Except for the caves were a little samey, but I mean, what can you do? But,
That's still a problem today. Is they just usually caves they're just copy pasted assets. But I mean, it was fine. It wasn't ugly. The game. I like some of the effects that it has. Like when you're charging up your weapon, there's this cool. There's like particles that fly around you, which looks nice. It doesn't quite look as good as some modern games like Liza P, but it's.
See, I would say modern games. Some of them look like trash 3D games, but I like a lot of old looks. So I'm like kind of opposite with you. I like the charm of older sprites. Maybe trash is a little harsh.
Spencer's thing though is that even the best looking game on the NES is an NES game.
I like that look. Is what I'm saying. I like the NES look. I like the sprites. Yeah.
Prove me wrong, Spencer.
There's charm to it for sure, but not as much charm as
Life at
a
P
doll learning
likes to pee. That's what we learned today.
Learning about
likes
humanity.
To pee. That's the sequel.
Spencer, you're playing Liza P on the Xbox, right?
Yeah.
It's a story
Is
about
it on
Pinocchio
Game Pass?
using the urinal.
It's on Game Pass, yeah.
Every time he pees, he
Game Pass.
levels up.
Yep, that's
Now,
right.
Nintendo does have the NES online, and I think Crystalis might be on there,
That's what I was
which
thinking.
is like NES game.
Do you want to know what P in
Similarities.
RPG stands for? It's the P in Life of P. You want to know what that is? You got to play it to find out.
Life of
It's
Pi.
It's Lies of P, just over
Lies of P.
Yeah.
because
Likes
it's
of
Pinocchio.
P.
He lies.
Life of Pi is a book.
So in Lies of P, does your nose
Yeah.
grow whenever you lie?
Crystalis.
We're talking about
Crystalis
Brian.
right now.
I don't know how many times I have to tell you this. My review is of Crystalis. Please respect the game that I picked.
Brian, you picked this. You wanted this. You said, "I'm curious. What did Spencer pick?"
Yeah.
And
I have an easy, simple
See,
game today. and
I have
you
a
picked the
feeling.
train wreck.
I have a feeling that Spencer's doing a bit.
Excuse me? I'm doing 8
Spencer doesn't
bits.
do bits.
I'm doing
I-
8 bits
he's-
right now. I'm talking about Crystalis.
this
This-
like 200
this
bit
goddamn
2000 bit
game-
on the Xbox.
No, not on Xbox. We're not talking about that. I don't know where you're getting this
Yeah,
from.
Crystalis was on NES.
I'm talking about Crystalis,
Freaking
NES
Steam
Classic.
Deck here.
I don't know what's his
Talking
name.
about
Life
your
of Penis?
modern console.
Life of Penis. No, I'm talking about an innocent game called Crystalis. You're bringing. See, now I have to change the rating of this review when I release it because of what you
I like
just said.
how in Crystalis,
Wow.
you look like you're like a pink power walker. Like
Yeah.
like the
Yeah,
outfit
you
the
move
character
very
looks-
fast. It's
Yeah.
very
Looks like they're
ease-like.
power walking.
It's very ease-like.
Yeah,
It
which
feels
reminds me of
like-
in Lies of P, where you run and like Lies of P.
Yeah,
You
I don't
Brian?
know Lies of
You know,
P.
yeah, like,
yeah. You can
I think
sprint
when-
through the world and
Yeah, I
quickly
think
attack.
it was Terry who mentioned that it's very ease-like, and I kind of agree with that.
Terry mentioned Lies of P.
Well, Lies of P.
Yeah,
Is ease
Because
like
we're
in
working on
P, it
Crystalis.
sounds like ease.
I'm confused.
It would be
Okay.
plural. it
We're,
would be
we're
like
talking
the
about
keys.
Crystalis.
I
Right?
keep getting interrupted when I'm talking about Crystalis, and I'm a little bit
Right.
offended by it. A little bit.
Okay.
So maybe
Okay,
we
are we
can.
done?
Sorry.
We're done
Can-
with the bit.
Can we bring it back to Crystalis, please? I want to.
I would like.
Yeah.
I would like
Okay.
questions about Crystalis.
You keep bringing up this. Lies
Sure.
of P
I've
thing.
never. That was just an example that I
The
brought up
thing is-
once.
Okay. Well, you brought it up a little
Once
more than
too
that.
many.
Okay, Crystalis, please. Let's get back to it. You're playing as
How does it
Pinocchio.
compare to Lies of P?
Yeah, it's not as good. But that
Okay.
it's an NES game. You can't expect it to be as good as a game that came out, a month ago on an
Agreed.
Xbox
Last
Game
month.
Pass.
I strongly disagree with that statement.
You disagree with that?
Yeah, there's a lot of NES games I've played now. I'm finding out about that are a lot better than a lot of new stuff today.
Oh, wow.
Well,
Boom, boom.
I just want to make it known.
How
that's
do you
all.
respond to that, Spencer?
Crystalis
Yeah,
ain't
eat
one of
that
them.
Yoshi's cookie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Lies of
this
P,
extent-
Lies of P seems real good, but if you played Yoshi's Cookie,
Brian has it.
There's
and I
always-
sent it
there's-
to him, and he hasn't
No, I played it. I had you on stream once when I played it.
The real
anyway,
question is Crystalis versus Yoshi's Cookie. Yeah, that's a feud.
whoa, there you go. That's the competition I want to see.
Are you good enough to get Yoshi's cookie?
Are
Community
you a
discourse?
cookie enough dude to beat Yoshi's Cookie?
I did it for the cookie. For the cookie.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Anyway, that's the game I played. Lies of P. I mean, Crystalis.
Hey y'all, don't forget to subscribe to them button mappers.